topic that I talk quite a lot about, and it's debanking. And just, I want to get your view on how big a problem this is. Just so, for example, I just want to quickly tell a story that happened over the last month or two, that someone in our business network, they had to choose which bank they wanted to bank with because they were moving. So they had multiple different banks come in and essentially pitch to them. And one of the questions this person was asking is, we're going to be dealing with Bitcoin. Is this a problem? And said bank was like, nope, this is perfectly fine. We are all set for this. You're good. So he told me that. And then I want to say 2 weeks later, that same bank, I won't name names, that same bank debanked someone.
Close the account.
Yeah, but not the same person, but a different person. So this is the state that I'm seeing it currently in, and it's very tricky for many business owners and individuals as well. What's your take on the overall picture of this?
Man, all right. You'll have to make sure I don't get on my soapbox for too long. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I think it's a real problem. And I think it also goes back to that cultural point I have, where I think there are lots of risk committees at financial institutions, boards that are just not familiar with crypto and are being overly conservative, right? Like they'll read about FTX from 5 years ago and say, okay, we can't touch this whole space. But you have the same issues with bad actors. In fact, you have more issues with bad actors in traditional finance. You still obviously work with those players. Debanking is a massive issue, but I also would separate it out into two different parts that are equally important and have different effects. So the one that you just mentioned is, can companies and individuals get a bank account if they touch crypto and work in crypto? And can you actually maintain that access to the fiat financial system? That has historically been a massive problem. It's been a problem that Coinbase has faced in its past as well. We're luckily big enough now and public enough that that's not an issue, but I see it all the time when I talk to startup founders who are in this space is, can you actually find an institution that will accept you as a business and give you access to a fiat bank account? And then can you actually trust that they won't randomly close it down the road? That's a real problem. The other problem that I think is equally big and holding back the UK ecosystem is banks blocking transfers from individuals to crypto players. And right now, if you go look at the CMA9, which for those not familiar is the largest banks in the UK, the vast majority of them, I think almost all of them, have really hard blanket limits on transfers to crypto players. Some of them just fully block it. Some of them say £5,000 a month limit. Some of them have rolling rules in the background that they don't publicly share to customers, but they're all blanket rules. Like these aren't nuanced about is the player trusted? Are they licensed? How long has the user been a customer there? It's just, is this bank account associated with a crypto exchange or a crypto asset player? Block all transfers. And the problem you have there then is it holds back the growth of the entire ecosystem. And so it's no point having a licensing regime and trying to make the UK a global crypto hub if you can't actually get money into crypto. And so I think both of those issues have to be solved. I recently went on a big public rant because we had a player block our payroll to our employees because they work at a crypto player. That type of thing is just unacceptable to me. And another sort of story that sort of ties to one you had is, we have a very senior person on our policy team who was denied a mortgage despite being a VP at S&P 500 company because they work in crypto. And so you can't have that sort of cultural or risk appetite as a financial institution. I think we have to recognize that this is a core part of the financial ecosystem, and it's now becoming regulated, licensed. I mean, Coinbase is a VASP. We have an e-money institution license. We will get the future FISMA license. We're a regulated entity. We work hand in hand with regulators. And I think we need to be treated on equal footing with other regulated financial service players. And that's what we have to get to, I think, culturally, to stop debanking as an issue. Because otherwise, I think this is going to be something that, frankly, just drives business offshore to places that are more friendly if we don't solve it.
That's the worry as well, is the driving business away. And I've seen so many businesses leaving, which is, it's sad to see. And I've also seen many businesses on the sideline wanting to come into the UK, but waiting until there's a little bit more clarity and stability. What's your perspective on your? Sorry.
I was going to say, I actually think these are easy solves, right? Because I think all you need is government and regulators to say, since we're regulating this space now, if you're a regulated player in crypto assets, you have fair and even, like you're required to have fair and even access to fiat rails. It's as simple as that. And I think if you do that and you make that statement, it will be something that then institutions, risk committees, boards can all lean on and say, okay, this is sanctioned. We have to change our risk appetite around this space. And so I do think, I'm pushing hard behind the scenes, and I think lots of others are as well, but I think this is solvable.
It definitely. And like, I was speaking to someone over in the US, I can't even remember who it was. I was speaking to someone and I asked that same question around debanking, because it's got a hell of a lot better over in the US. And I assume that we will then follow suit like we always do. What's your take on?
I agree with that. Like, I think there's been a shift in the winds on policy. I think the US helped kickstart that. But I think it is, the dollar is the reserve asset. The Federal Reserve and the US's policy does set the tone in many other markets. And so I do think a lot of other regulators are working on it. To be fair, though, the UK has been working on policies around this, and Europe as well, since long before the US changed its position. So I think the US has accelerated it. But I think to give credit, this is something that's been brewing in the background in a lot of these places. It just takes time to come to market. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that the US now is helping drive some of the policy shifts around this. And I think as you're watching money flows, there are $50 trillion in stablecoin payment flows last year. There's immense growth in this ecosystem in the US. And I think people are waking up to this can be a big economic driver if I bring it to my market and onshore it.